welcome to UnderGroundMiKz, the only show dedicated to getting the aspiring artist heard. I'm Kevin Nova, here with Mr. Jamestown, as well as our special guest, Jace.
Well, let me ask you something from a non-artist standpoint. So, is there ever a time where you're making a song and you're writing down the lyrics, and maybe you write something originally, and then you're like, I feel this way, but I think the public would relate better this way, so you switch from what you're actually feeling to put something that the public would relate to better? Does that make sense?
I see where you're going. So in a sense, like
have you ever been writing something? Yeah, have you ever been writing something, but like I really like this verse, and you know, and then it's like, well, maybe instead of saying this, I'm going to say this because I think majority of the people would feel this versus the way that I feel. Or do you just write what you feel? And
for the most part, I write what I feel. Because I feel like my story alone, somebody can relate to it.
Okay.
And lately, I've been just trying to find more unique ways to get to market it, because I know I'm a deep rapper too. Like I have a lot of content inside my music.
Right.
So and I know a lot of people miss it if I don't put it in a way where they will understand it. So I use the flavored cough drop theory. It's kind of like you're giving them what they want and you give them what they need at the same time. So you give them a cough drop. It tastes like candy. They like, oh, I like it, but they also soothe their throat as well. That's kind of do my music. Like they hear it, they like, oh, I like I like the beat, I like the flow, I like the hook. But then when they really listen to the lyrics, is a message in there. Like, oh, he actually saying something too. Yeah. So that's kind of like the format I've been trying to format.
And as a consumer, that's kind of a lot of times when I hear a song, the beat will be what attracts me. And then the second, the third, the fourth time, when you actually start to learn those lyrics. Because there's some times where I'll listen to a song, and the first time I maybe don't feel it, but I like the beat. And then I start listening to the lyrics, and then it's like I fall in love with that song again, because it's like, oh, dang, I like the lyrics of this song, and then I connect better with that song. And sometimes even if I start with a song that I don't like, maybe I'm just, not that I don't like it, but I'm just not feeling like I want to listen to it every day. But then I hear the lyrics and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I like those lyrics. And the next it's like, now it's added to my Spotify account, or now it's on my favorites or something like that.
Right.
And that's the main thing I had to grasp as an artist, because being an artist, I don't know if you do it, but my way of listening to music is backwards than a consumer, because I listen to the lyrics first.
Very, very different.
I listen to the lyrics first. The first thing I do is when I hear the song, I'm listening to what he's saying. Then I start going to the flow. Then I start going to the beat. Where the average person, like you said, they're gonna go beat, how they delivering themselves. Then probably a couple of days later, they're gonna really listen to the lyrics and be like, oh, okay, this is what he's talking about. I actually like. Well,
sometimes especially like if it's a a rap song where they're speaking faster, it's hard to understand it if you haven't heard it a few times. Yeah. In some cases, like you try to listen to it, and it's like, unless they have a slower tone, but if they especially because you got the beats and the backgrounds and everything is going on, it's hard sometimes just to understand what they're saying and remember it. Where once you've heard it a few times, like, oh yeah, this is that part that I like that's coming up, and then that's where you kind of relate. Absolutely. And we talked about that on the last episode when we went to Coast. There's some that maybe had really great lyrics when we were at that show, but I just couldn't understand what they were saying. Yeah. Now where
he's down there coast to coast.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I mean, like some of it you couldn't understand because they were speaking so fast. And I understand the difference. When they record the audio and for a CD or the radio, it's going to be a different quality than when they're filming. Just on a stage. So I understand that part. But like I said, when Kevin performed and other artists performed, I understood Kevin, but I also had heard Kevin's music a lot. So, I mean, I knew the song, so it was easier for me to follow the lyrics. But I think even if I never even heard your music, I would be able to understand that song more than some of the other artists.
Right. Definitely. I definitely agree. And a lot of things that happened at the Coast to Coast, since you brought that up, it's bad micing technique. A lot of the artists, they get in the habit of cuffing the mic. Yeah. So it's like when they talking, ooh, sound muffled. And as soon as I see the first artist did that when he first came out, I said, oh, Kevin, please don't do that.
The fourth artist didn't do that.
Yeah.
Number 4,
they started getting better. Yeah, they started getting better.
That was Kevin.
Yeah. They started getting better about it. I was like, oh, man, please don't cuff that mic, man. Please
I try and tell these people.
It's hard not to. Like, you got to really train yourself not to do it.
Because you got dumbass hosts that, they'll cuff the mic. The host will fucking cuff the mic, and what you setting the example for the people that are doing the show. So if you got the person that's, yeah, it is how I'm going to be performing, yada yada yada. Nobody's going to be holding it like this.
But see, the
Everybody's
thing is,
gonna be holding it like that.
That's one of the things that I really, really like when, we started working together, is seeing the consumer side and the artist side. Because when we were there, I asked Kevin, why did your music sound different than the other person? And he was able to explain that to me. But 90% of the people that are consumers that are not artists wouldn't know there's a difference in the way that, like, I would think that, like, that's how you would hold the mic. That's just how I would assume that you would do it. So it's so funny. It's like when to hear another artist say the exact same thing as another artist, whereas, like, I didn't think it'd make that big of a deal. Like, if I was, like, to get thrown a mic and up on stage before I get booed, I'd probably be holding the mic like this, and so that's funny that.
Hey, it come with trial and error. You just go through it and you just see it so much, and then it take that one person kind of be like, dude, get your hand off of the mic.
Yeah. Yeah, it was completely different.
Go ahead and make sure to follow, of course, UnderGroundMiKz. UnderGroundMiKz is UnderGroundMiKZ. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Follow myself on any type of social media at I am Kevin Nova. I'd love to chop it up with you guys and, kind of get some opinion and feedback from the show. You can follow James.
All my social media is at Mr. Jamestown, Mr. Jamestown. Jamestown is spelled with the Z, so it's JMEZTOWN. I also have a website, jamestown.com. You can check that out. And we just want to say thank you guys for tuning into this show, and thank you for all the support. Thank you for being our guest. This has been an awesome experience. So we're gonna end it with that, and we will see you guys next week.
Thank you guys. UnderGroundMiKz.
Follow us.
Peace.